Hello, everybody. Once again, we are here to talk about some spirited.
Politics.
How you doing, Christina?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm just wondering what wine pairs well with the fall of democracy.
Yes, it's been quite another week we are living through.
Quite another week we are living through, indeed. So, just hanging in there, I think doing the best we can in these times, trying to keep our sanity with the barrage of information that's forthcoming.
Yes, have you seen the video of Bernie?
I have not actually.
Okay, why don't we start with that today?
Sounds
We don't
great.
have to watch the whole thing. We can just watch the first part of it, okay?
That sounds fantastic.
All right, here we go. Share. Do you see it?
Do I see? I do.
Okay, here we
I
go.
love that face.
We are living in a dangerous and unprecedented moment in American history. And I'm getting a lot of calls from people who are not only upset about what's happening, but are wondering how we best go forward. Well, let me tell you, we've got to be smart, we've got to be organized, and we've got to fight back. This is not a time for wallowing in despair and hiding under the covers. The stakes are just too high. We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for our kids, for future generations. We're fighting for the future of this planet. In the first 2 weeks of his presidency, Donald Trump defied the Constitution by ending birthright citizenship, fired government watchdogs, allowed drilling along our coastlines, pardoned violent insurrectionists, suspended all foreign aid, and tried to cut off virtually all federal funding. So, how do we go forward? First, to be effective, we've got to understand what, in fact, is happening around us right now. Second, we need a short term strategy. What do we do tomorrow and the next day and the day after that? Third, we need a long term strategy. How do we build a movement that gains political power? Here is, in my view, a brief overview as to what is happening under Trump. Most importantly, the move toward oligarchy in our country, government run by the rich and the powerful, is proceeding rapidly. And it's not being done secretly. A little over a week ago, Donald Trump was inaugurated for his second term. Standing right behind him were the three richest men in the world, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg. Men who have become over $200 billion richer since Trump was elected and who now are worth almost $1 trillion more money than the bottom half of American society, 170 million people. But it's not just oligarchy that we should worry about. This country under Trump is moving rapidly toward authoritarianism. Just a few examples. In violation of the Constitution and federal law, Trump attempted the other day to suspend all federal grants and loans. That means he blocked funding for Medicaid, Head Start, food stamps, homeless veterans, etc., etc. Tens of millions of Americans, some of the most vulnerable people in our country, were impacted by that decision. Fortunately, Americans all across the country stood up in outrage and said, no, no. And with the help of the courts, much, but not all of that freeze funding was rescinded. You may have noticed that Trump is intimidating the media with lawsuits against ABC, CBS, Meta, and the Des Moines Register. If Trump does not like what media reports, he is threatening them with lawsuits, undermining the First Amendment. That is a direct movement toward authoritarianism. Now, that's a very broad overview of where we are today. In terms of short-term strategy, we've got to mobilize as strongly as we can against Trump's dangerous proposals. And let me just say this importantly. Yes, the Republicans control the House and the Senate, but do not forget their majorities are small. In the House, a body of 435 members, they have a 4-vote majority. That is a razor-thin margin, and their legislation can be defeated. There are a number of Republicans out there who won in Democratic districts by small margin. So let me tell you, these guys do respond to phone calls and emails. So if there's a piece of legislation you disagree with, get on the phone and call the Capitol switchboard at 202-224-21.
Okay. I think that's a pretty good start.
I think that's a great start. And I mean, I just wish there were more people out there like Bernie, but I'm glad that that he is speaking up and he's sharing this information because these are dangerous and scary times.
Amen, sister. Yes.
And I think one of the worst things we can do right now is to just completely tune out and say there's nothing I can do.
No, there's a lot that we can do. And right now, there's a lot of distractions. There are,
Yes.
planes flying, planes are falling out of the sky. There is, you know, uh, terrorists that are trying to scare us. There are lots of things that are trying to happen that are trying to distract us and scare us and get us beaten down. But there's something about the American spirit. We're very resilient and we don't give up easily.
No, I'm really hoping not these days. I'm just wondering if, like you mentioned, there's a lot of distractions right now, and I'm curious to know if a lot of the things that are going on are a really big distraction for some deeper things that have been happening. I don't know if you've heard about what's been going on with the Treasury and Elon Musk.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I have
so
heard that.
yes, so for our viewers, the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has granted representatives of DOGE, this so-called Department of Government Efficiency, full access to the federal payment system, which is illegal. And so I just wanted to share something that's particularly concerning. So right now, um, Elon Musk is working with a handful of people who they aren't government employees. A lot of them were involved in helping him take over Twitter. And they've been caught plugging external hard drives into federal agency systems. They have been locking the Office of Personnel Management, which is kind of like the HR system for the federal government. They've literally been locking people out of both their computers and out of private rooms to perform who knows what. And what's happening right now is violating key cybersecurity laws, which are designed to protect sensitive federal information. Um, Unauthorized external drives can introduce viruses, ransomware, harmful software that could compromise entire networks and disrupt essential operations. And this puts the continuity of services at risk. It endangers infrastructure. It puts system stability at risk. And these devices could be used to steal or damage the personal data for millions of Americans, Social Security recipients, taxpayers. We run the risk of cyber attacks. These could cripple our vital services and compromise privacy and safety. Um, these federal agencies also they have really strict access controls to prevent unauthorized data manipulation. But when unauthorized devices are connected, all of these protections are bypassed, and unauthorized users can potentially alter or extract sensitive data. So federal systems, I mean, they handle trillions of dollars in payment and manage personal data for millions of citizens. And these Musk and his staffers are putting these systems and the public at serious risk. And it's scary because we're basically putting the fox in charge of the hen house, so to speak. Musk is not even an elected official. Um, and we're putting a trillionaire in charge of government resources and the Treasury. And I mean, people on the inside have been saying this is something like it's like a hostile takeover of
Mm.
the American government. This could get to be really bad, where Musk has full control of government contracts, government resources. He basically, I mean, they could loot our government. And I think there's so much chaos going on right now with the flights crashes, which Trump has loved to blame on DEI, but at the same time, he got rid of the head of the TSA, the head of the FAA. He's prohibited the further hiring of traffic controllers. Um, we are just in a really big shit show right now.
We
We're
are.
in a
And
real
now
big
we
shit
have
show.
also caused a tariff war with our neighbors, with our
Yes,
beloved neighbors that we've had very strong relationships with, Mexico
right.
and Canada. And, this is just going to put all of these citizens, the American citizens, the Mexican citizens, and the Canadians in a very tight situation.
Absolutely. I
And
mean, our
who
European allies. I'm sorry, go ahead.
and we're also putting um we're threatening relationships with our European friends.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's sad for me right now because what I'm seeing on social media is people who are big proponents of MAGA is they're just gleefully dancing around. Oh, you're the greatest president, Mr. Trump. This is so fantastic. Finally, we're going to be getting goods made in the United States again. And I just am seeing a lot of people. I am all for goods bought in the United States. I try whenever I can to shop local. I support my farmers markets. I'm really big on supporting ethical business practices. And but the thing to me is, it just seems like most people don't have a really good understanding of economics and how tariffs really work. And it's not yet dawning on people that their costs are going up.
Yeah, do you realize that one of the main reasons why we had the Great Depression in 1929 was because of tariffs?
And we didn't have the banking regulations that we have today, too. I mean, the
But
fall of the
don't worry,
banks.
our Trump got rid of that last week.
Well, yeah, he wants to get rid of the FDIC, which protects and insures banks, which is basically these were the fail safes that were put in after the Great Depression so that another depression wouldn't happen. And this is now something that Trump wants to get rid of. Whether or not he will, I don't know. But with the rapid rate at which he's committing illegal acts, um, and it's really sad to see just the glee and delight of people who somehow think that a trillionaire is going to root out government corruption when this is pretty much, he's getting rid of all oversight, all the reports that Teslas are very unsafe, especially the self-driving ones, and cause fires and car accidents. That's all getting scrapped. So what they want is less oversight so they can commit illegal acts. I know.
Well, the good news
Ay,
is
Dios mío.
time is okay. There has a fine guideline that if you destroy the people that pay you, okay, it's like a virus. If the cold, okay, why does the cold survive so well? All right, because guess what? It invades the host, but it doesn't kill the host. It keeps on going. Has a nice little party with you for a little while. And after it's done partying, it jumps to you or to another friend, but doesn't kill the host because it knows it can go back and have another party. Now,
Best metaphor ever.
now, if Trump keeps on doing this, and if we have a Great Depression, we have no way to pay taxes. We have no way to buy his goods, or no way to buy his Trump money, or his Trump products, or his Trump Bible, or his Trump watch. So no money will go to him.
But in the meantime, if they rob the Federal Reserve and the trillions of dollars we have in the Treasury, taking that away from vital social programs, I mean, if Musk gets his hand on, oh, I can stop Medicare payments. I mean, like, my mom, since my father died, she gets a check for my dad's pension, and I mean, it's like thinking there's trillions of dollars that they could just concentrate in their own hands. And I don't think they care if people are starving and suffering while they're
Having
dancing
a
on their
party?
congas. Yeah,
Yeah.
the virus has its party.
So,
So what do we do? What do we do?
well, I think the one thing that he's not considering is the independent states. I don't think he realizes that the independent states are much different. That's what makes us different than any other country, is that every state has its um voice, has its own local government. And I think that's the difference. I think that is where he, first of all, I think that he's going to begin to pull back a little bit. If he doesn't pull back and he continues to go down this road, okay, it's like a train wreck that's about ready to happen. The cards are going to collapse. And is he smart enough to be able to get us out of when the house falls? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I think I think we have an unelected billionaire who's really calling all the shots behind the scenes. That's what's scary to me is, we didn't elect Elon Musk.
No.
Um,
He's not even a citizen of the United States. He's from
no,
Florida. I'm not Florida, from South America.
South Africa,
South
yeah.
Africa. So blow
No,
these
it's okay.
days. And that his grandparents were Nazis, you know.
I didn't hear about that, but it adds up.
So what can we do to survive?
That's a really good question right now, and one that I am deeply pondering as I I would like to say that if people get more involved, this this could shift. It's just a question of people waking up and getting more involved.
And I think people are waking up. I think the the martyr, yeah, I believe, like our dear friend Bernie said, he goes, they only have four seats in the house. And those are very slim margins.
Right.
So we need to call, we need to communicate, we need to talk to our neighbors. That I think what's going to happen is this had to happen because it was such a bad cult that the megas have drink the orange Kool-Aid that if Harris won, we would have had a civil war.
I think so as well. Yeah, I don't think they would have stood for it. Trump would have said that, that it was a fake election. All of a sudden, and if you look at there's a great reporter. His name is Greg Palast, and he investigates gerrymandering and voter suppression. If you look at the number of ballots that were actually thrown out, disqualified, etc., I wouldn't doubt if this election was somehow rigged in Trump's favor. But I do believe that if he hadn't won, he would have sicked his supporters back on the Capitol, and that's why he's pardoning them all. So he'll have his own little private militia. Um, yeah,
And I think for me, it's going to be hard when the megas start changing their mind and they're beginning to wake up. When things have gone so far from who we are as a country, the program is beginning to break. It's going to happen. And when that does,
right.
us Democrats, we have to be patient. We have to be loving. We can't be like, I told you so, you. Blah, blah, blah. No, you have to
Right.
say, I'm sorry that this happened. I'm sorry that you're disappointed. But guess what? There's plenty of room in the blue tent. Let's have a seat and let's talk about this.
Right.
And that's where we need to get to. And we're getting to that point very quickly.
We're getting to that point, and it's just
And
it's just a
personally,
crazy upside down world. What's
Personally,
that?
I thought it was going to take longer. I thought it was going to take 2 years until the mega people start waking up. It's only been 2 weeks.
Are you seeing some of them wake up?
Oh, yeah. Yes. They're beginning to wake up. Slowly, but they're beginning to wake up. You see, even with Canada, so Canada's, I'm telling you, Canada's very smart right now. Canada is the tariffs that they have put against our country are targeting the red states.
Yeah.
And the moment that happens, the moment that the red states begin to lose their jobs, can't buy their cigarettes, can't buy diapers because they're no longer getting money from the government, that's when the switch is going to happen. And this is not what they've been voted for. They have been gaslighted, they have been brainwashed, and we need to just let it be. And it's going to happen. I guarantee it. I'm not gaslighting you on this one.
Oh no. Oh gosh, I don't think you are. I'm just I'm trying to muster up the optimism that this is going to create uh an awakening.
It is.
Um
I have a question for you. Are you
yeah,
the same person that you were 2 weeks ago?
no. No, I am not. And that is a great question. I've found that this has put a lot of things in perspective
Hmm.
for me. So in those terms, I mean, things that used to maybe fluster me, certain first world problems, so to speak, that might have gotten under my skin, not bothering me at all. Not bothering me at all. I feel like, wow, I really need to focus on where the true problems lie and also distill down what's really important. So you're right. In that way, that's been an awakening for me as well. I'm appreciating certain things in my life a lot more, certain freedoms, certain people. Um, so no, I am not the same person I was 2 weeks ago. How about you?
No, we are all waking up very quickly. Like I said last week, it's like the band-aids have been ripped off
Hmm,
and fully exposed. And I think that's why this has happened, is because we need to be pushed. We need to be a little bit more awake. And to be honest with you, I don't know what the next 2 weeks are going to bring,
right?
you know? But I think that this is going to give us the opportunity to look at our shadows, look at our doubts, and literally we have to practice what we preach by having faith and knowing that God has it under control. It's doubtful, believe me. So many times I want to pack my bags and head north and go to Canada, you know, but I can't because this is my country and I'm going to stick with it and I'm not under my watch. I'm going to let this become a Nazi country.
Yeah, it's like a pirate ship right now. They're just they're trying to create chaos and plunder and yeah, I really hope that people wake up and that government leaders, even the ones who are just falling in line and step with Trump, start to. I hope that there are enough good people in government that they will put their foot down and stand up to him. But I don't know at this point. I feel like he's been just enabled for so long that he considers himself invincible.
Well, from Trump words himself, anyone can be replaceable.
Mm.
You got frozen again. Christina, come back.
or maybe just a deep breath for me.
Yes. A deep breath. Yes. Okay. So, Christina, do you have any cards with us to share?
Actually did, and I pulled something and I left it in the other room. So if you don't mind keeping the audience entertained for about 60 seconds, I will go grab that
Yes.
because it was very timely for this week. I will be
Okay.
right back.
Well, I'm going to show our audience the number that if you have any complaints at all, please consider contacting your United States Capitol switchboard. The number is 202-224-3121. And I actually called that number today because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't giving you a wonky, wonky number. And you might have to call a couple times because that line seems to be very busy. But once you get able to get into it, you will talk to the United States Capitol switchboard, and it's an AI, and it will ask you what state you are from. And you can share your information, and they will directly connect you uh, with your representative. And I hope that all of you, if you have any concerns on what's going on, that you use this number and that you can call. Because Christina's not back right now, I'm going to share with you something else. Oh, I thought I had. Oh, there we go. And right here is the United States State Senate. You can, there's the by email, you can contact them. You can also do snail mail, and there's also telephone. And this website also talks about rules and regulations for the Senate. And Christina is back.
Hello. I'm back with a dog. He decided to follow me in here. You're a good boy. Okay. So he probably came back with me because this is, interestingly enough, these are um, this is a very old deck called medicine cards. And what the medicine cards are for are the healing powers of animal medicines. And I have worked with this for a really long time. And interestingly enough, I have never drawn this card, never opened up to this page. And when being asked in a meditation what was the message that needed to come through, the message of the armadillo. Boundaries.
Hmm.
Ar- Armadillo wears its armor on its back, its medicine a part of its body. Its boundaries of safety are a part of its total being. Armadillo can roll into a ball and never be penetrated by enemies. What a gift it is to set your boundaries so that harmful words or intentions just roll off. Your lesson is in setting up what you are willing to experience. So I want to repeat that because it's a really powerful statement. Your lesson is in setting up what you are willing to experience. If you do not wish to experience feeling invaded, just call upon armadillo medicine. A clue to how to proceed is to make a circle on a piece of paper and see it as a medicine shield. In the body of the shield, write all that you are desiring to have, do, or experience. Include all the things that give you joy. This sets up boundaries that allow only these chosen experiences to be part of your life. These boundaries become a shield that ward off the things which are undesirable to you. The shield reflects what you are and what your will is to others on an unconscious level. Outside of the shield, you may put what you are willing to experience by invitation only. For example, a visit from a long lost relative, or criticism from friends, or people needing handouts. If armadillo has waddled into the card you chose, it is time to define your space. You may have been too willing to let your home become a bus station. You may find that you cannot say no, even when you know that you will have to cancel plans to be obliging. This routine can get old in a hurry. It may be time to ask yourself the following questions. Am I honoring the time I need for myself? Do others treat me like a doormat? Do I always get upset and feel like I'm being taken for granted? All of the questions to these, or all of the answers to these questions relate to setting up boundaries, what you will and won't do, what makes you feel uncomfortable, and what is comforting to you. How you react in any circumstance has to do with your ability to be objective. You cannot be objective if you cannot tell where another person's personality stops and where yours begins.
Wow.
If you have no boundaries, you are like a sponge. It will seem as if all the feelings in the room full of people must be yours. Ask yourself if you're really feeling depressed or if this feeling actually belongs to a person you're talking to or another situation. Then allow Armadillo's armor to slice in between, giving you back your sense of self. So,
Wow.
feels timely because it seems like this is a real time to ask ourselves what we're willing to experience, what we're willing to allow into our energies, and to set up boundaries both collectively and individually for what we are willing to tolerate in our energies and in our lives.
Yes. Thank you, Christina, so very much. This
Thank you,
was
Teresa.
another very
Thank,
spirited.
thank you for sharing the numbers for the Capitol switchboard as well. I mean, we should be flooding those lines.
Yes. And we also will do you have the card in with you?
Too.
We'll also add the link to oh, beautiful. Awesome.
That is the armadillo, which is armadillo. Armor my boundaries. Teach me my shields. Reflect all the hurt so I will not yield.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Christina, for another spirited.
Politics. Thank you, Teresa. It means more than ever now to have friends like you to be in community with and to stand strong with during these challenging and interesting times.
Amen.
I love you, my friend.
Love you too. Talk to you next week.